keep it locked onto 2NBC 90.1. Let's go.
Doors closing. Please stand clear.
This is the Tamana Show with our segment called the Men's Space, where we talk to members in the community who are just out there making a difference. And today I've got a special guest appearance, or a friend of mine actually, Tak. Tak, you want to say hello?
How's it going, man? Thanks for having me on.
Yeah, good. Thank you, bro. Thank you for coming out here, mate. How was the drive in?
Honestly, it was good because I had my second man, my good man Johnny, with me, my right hand man.
Yep.
So just had some, good convos along the way, and now we're here.
Yeah, nice. So our listeners out there, obviously in the past few weeks, the past few months, I've had some special guests come into the studio and talk about difference makers and people that are out there just, helping out the community in whatever gifting they've been given. And Tak's just not any regular Joe. This guy's out there representing Zoku Creative, and they are a production company. Correct me if I'm wrong here, Tak, but you can help me out as well. Give us the background story on how Zoku Creative started.
Yeah, I mean, it depends on how much time we got, but to keep it short, I've always been very into creative stuff. In school, I always excelled in art. It was just one of the things that I always knew. It's just something I love. And it all started when I was in Japan in high school. My art teacher was from Sydney, but I'm living in Japan, right? And she's like, if you ever go back to Sydney, you need to go to a school called KOFA, which is the College of Fine Arts, but it's not called that anymore. It's part of UNSW. It's like the arts school of UNSW.
Where is KOFA?
In Paddington.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, and it's part of UNSW. And I was like, nah, I'm not going to go to an art school because I didn't think there was ever any money in art. When I actually moved back to Sydney, I went to UTS, did a business degree. Within 6 months, I left because I just didn't fit in. I actually couldn't do any of the work. I did a business degree because I wanted to run a business, but they just didn't know how to attend the lectures and do the tutorials and all of that. So then somehow a year later, I ended up at KOFA, and I ended up doing a design degree. And from there, that's kind of where my creative sort of career really went all in. And I ended up becoming a videographer 7 years ago. I'm 38 now. So it's not like, something I started when I was really young. I was always into, cameras and all of that, but it kind of just happened really organically. But I've always been into like design and art and just anything sort of cool, And that's how Zoku Creative started. But Zoku Creative, before it was a video agency, it was a clothing label. Yeah, it was called Zoku.
Oh, right.
And it was the reason why it was called Zoku is because it means family in Japanese. And my friend and I, my very close friend and I, he's a tattoo artist, Japanese tattoo artist. And we did our first ever collaboration for our shirts and hoodies we wanted to make. So we did like a hanya, which is like a mask in Japanese culture. And it had the Zoku name on it. And we still have those jumpers and stickers and shirts to this day. But then things shifted, and before you knew it, we added the creative on the end of it. And 6 years later, we're here.
Yeah, awesome, man. Your background, bit about yourself. Listeners want to know who Tak is. Maybe give us a bit of insight into who you are, man, and your background story.
Honestly, that's a good question. Like, who am I? I'm still trying to find out who I am every single day. But I was I had a very good family, very good mum that raised me really well, gave me the right morals, right ethics. But then somewhere along those lines, like I really fell off the tracks, you could say. And that is one of the reasons why that happened was my father left and my parents got divorced at a very young age. I was in year 3.
Wow.
And I only realized that that affected me so much only after I became a dad. And everything I went through during my younger days, I feel as if now I realize that it really stemmed from not having that father figure. And when I talk about like going off the tracks, just hanging out with the wrong people, coming home late, and then in my early teens, in my like 20s, just experimented with so much drugs and alcohol and just getting on it to a point where you could just like mask pain. And it took me many years to sort of heal myself. And one of the main ways I was able to do that was to be able to find someone that really cared for me. And that was my wife. And she really changed me. And she changed me because she always wanted the best for me. And that's how I've been able to really grow and become a different person to who I used to be. But as I said before, I've always been a creative person. I've always been like naturally like a giving person. I love to talk to people. I love to have a laugh. Like, you know, I feel like people hire us just for that purpose. Like when you work with us, it's not just we get the job done. You have a good time doing the job. Yeah. And that's what I hold a lot of pride in. And especially like the culture. Like I'm not just trying to build like a huge team. I just want to build a team of just good people with the right morals, the right ethics. And we all think the same way. And that's who we are, you know. So, you know, I feel like we can offer a lot more than just a really good video, you know, through what we've been through. Awesome.
That is Tak from Zoku Creative. We're definitely going to hear more about him. We'll go to a quick break for now, but you know, if you're enjoying it or it's insightful, don't change that dial. Stay with us here at 2NBC 90.1, and we're definitely going to hear more from this legend as the show rolls on. So we'll go to a song and we'll be right back after this. And welcome back to 2NBC 90.1 FM. This is your host, Tamana, on the Tamana Show. We're talking the men's space and speaking to people who are making a difference in their community. We've got Tak here from Zoku Creative, who shared a bit about his story and what he does. You touched on before, obviously, you know, a bit of your background. You're a family man now also. What's that like, juggling the pair, both family and business?
Yeah, great question. I think they're both very challenging in their own ways, but I was able to start the business because the kids are a bit older now and they're a bit more self-managed, but it's always a struggle to try and keep the balance well. But, you know, it's very much at the forefront of my mind to always try and have that balance. And sometimes you just can't. And, you know, that's just part of life, in my opinion. But knowing that I want to spend that time with the family is always up there. So whenever I get a chance, like that's what I try to do. And I preach it and I don't always do it, but I think just being present, like when you do spend time with them, you need to actually spend time with them. Yeah. And when you're not spending time with them, you're not spending time with them.
So you don't just get home and do like the stream thing, put on Netflix or a cartoon?
No, the kids don't watch much in general. Nice. Like we try not to. Yeah. And sometimes we do because, you know, it's just sometimes the adults need it. Yeah. But generally speaking, I try to, you know, do something with them. We go out, we go ride the bikes, or we go to the shops and, you know, go to the library, or we just try to do as much as possible with them. So yeah.
That's massive, because what I'm hearing is that you obviously, with what you do for Zoku, you're doing production, you're editing, you're on your, like, I think the last 2 weeks ago you were at the State of Origin, right?
Correct.
That's a big day within itself, even prepping for that. Yeah. Then you got to come home, put all the gear down. I don't edit right now. I just, you know, the kids want dad's attention. So you just kind of recharge, second half, get out there, go to a park, ride the bikes. You do all that. Is it?
Honestly, exactly that, man. Yeah. Exactly that. Like whenever I get a minute, I will spend time with them. So now I set myself a rule. When I get home, I put the phone on charge.
Love it.
And I don't touch it until they go to bed. Yeah. So at least that way I can actually spend time with them and not have like work on the back of my mind while I'm with them, or at the front of my mind when I'm with them.
Wow.
Yeah.
We weren't going to go there, but I'm going to go there. Why is that important for you, Tak, in terms of just spending time with the kids? You sound like it's something that's pretty close to your heart.
Yeah. Well, I think there's two things. One is like you only get to hang out with those kids at a certain age once they grow older. As everyone says, once they're older, they don't want a piece of you. Right now, they're like craving for my attention.
How old are we talking?
7 and 4.
Okay.
So while they're craving for my attention, you want to be with them, because once they're older, they might not want that. When I'm ready to give them that attention, they're going to be like, F off, Dad. I don't want you anymore. Right. Yeah, so when they want it, if you're not going to take it, then what's the point? Right. You know? And the whole purpose of running a business and trying to become successful is so that you can actually spend time with your family. Right. So when you can do it, you have to do it.
Yeah.
And on the flip side, like not growing up with a dad, you know, that's always been a thing. Like I want to be there for my kids because I didn't get that, you know? So I think that's a huge part of wanting to be present in my kids' lives and my wife's life.
That's awesome, man. Because you find, speaking of success, sometimes we do it backwards, right? We build the big castle first and the house, the cars, pay off the mortgage. And then by the time we've done that already, the kids are already young adults.
That's right.
And the window's missed.
Exactly right.
It just sounds like something you're trying to avoid and you want to get on the front foot now.
100%, man. I've always been very family orientated. And I just know like how valuable it is. I know how valuable time is, especially because I lost my mum at a young age as well. Yeah. So when you've lost, when you've lost things in your life that are very significant, then you know how valuable time is. And I preach it like I'm doing it, and I'm not doing it to the point that I should be, but I'm very well aware of what I need to be doing. Mm-hmm. So there's two complete different things, because if my wife listens to this, she's going to be like, mate, you're preaching it like you do it. That's why I'm saying it now. Like, I know what I need to do and what I should be doing, but I'm working my way to actually doing it.
Yeah, so, awesome. Yeah. Man, I love that, man. Man, I appreciate your transparency and your vulnerability. Obviously, we were going to talk about your creative label and what you do, but I think even just kind of getting to the personal side of things, this has been really cool, man. And I appreciate you just kind of opening up the old heart and giving us an insight.
Yeah, man.
That's really cool. What I think we'll do is we'll go to another break and we're going to unpack what it is that Zoku Creative do and also the amazing work that they're doing with tomorrow's generation, because I think that's very valuable. And I definitely want our listeners to hear about the amazing work that you guys are doing. So we'll be back right after this break. Stay tuned for our listeners. Don't go anywhere. 90.1 FM. This is the Tamana Show for the men's space. We are talking to Tak from Zoku Creative, sharing a lot of insight, dropping a lot of pearls, man. Pearls of wisdom. This man is full of wisdom. I'm not just saying that because he's from Western Sydney. No, I am saying that. They're all the wisest in Western Sydney. Tak, you've shared a bit about, obviously, your story and obviously, the family model and Zoku Creative. What exactly do you guys do in terms of production and the involvement that your work line is in?
Yeah, man. So we're a video agency. So we specialize in videos. That doesn't mean that we can't do other things, because I was actually in digital marketing for 12 years before I became a videographer.
Nice.
And I feel as if that is like the perfect combination when it comes to executing something at a very high level. Before I was a digital marketer, I was a graphic designer. So when it comes to marketing, like I don't want to fluff myself up, but like I kind of know what I'm doing.
Yeah.
Outside of like the SEO and sort of the Google stuff, just being in the social media space for such a long time, I know what sort of really gets the engagement in terms of like content. So I'm a very strong sort of content focused videographer.
Yeah.
And, when I decided to go off and run this business, I didn't want to be like any other video agency. I always like to think different. And the way we are different is that we are big promoters for videography as a great career space, not only for adults, but for the youth.
Yeah.
And the reason I say that is because videography changed my life. Like, it's given me a platform to be able to provide for my family. Not only that, it's been able to give a platform to a lot of other people, a lot of other disadvantaged people. Videography has actually saved them as well. And the way it saved them is, I run a YouTube channel as well, specifically around adversity. A lot of people that have gone through adversity in their lives. It could be prison, it could be some form of abuse, it could be anything really.
Yep.
And those videos that I've done for these people have given them opportunities, like very positive opportunities. And that wouldn't have happened if their video or their story was never told. So naturally, like, it just happened where one day I was filming for another business in Cobham Juvenile Justice Centre, and it hit me that, why don't I just do our own workshops in Cobham? Yeah. Because I was filming for other workshops.
That's awesome.
And once that hit me, I already had the relationships with all the workers there. It just became a natural thing. And then I realized that my whole life, everything's just the dots connected. Like, I used to be a tennis coach. I was a swimming coach. Then I worked in high risk youth in residential care homes for 3 years. And then now I'm in the justice space, like helping these kids. Not only the justice space, like we work with other organizations like Street Uni, Mount Druitt, Street Uni, Liverpool, high schools. Doesn't
That's
matter. We
amazing.
don't discriminate, you know?
Yeah.
If someone wants to learn video, we'll be there. And now, you know, we're not just a video agency creating good videos for businesses, but we're a video agency with purpose,
Yeah.
you know? And about 15% of our time right now goes into workshops. And a lot of that is not funded. And there's no grants. And hopefully in the future, you know, we can apply for grants and stuff like that. But the joy we get out of doing it is, for now, it's good. And it's very meaningful. And some of the best projects that we've done to date are the free ones that have, you know, given us so much more purpose and meaning into why we do what we do.
Yeah. That's amazing, man. I love that. And I guess that's the core of why we got you in the studio, man. It's, you're not just doing a small 9 to 5 tack. Like what you're doing, man, is you're definitely making a difference. What do you see in terms of the difference that you're making from a first-hand point of view?
I think the biggest thing is that these youth, specifically in the justice space, are looking for a like mentor.
What are we talking in terms of ages?
Generally speaking, about 15 to 18.
Wow.
And these kids are like, they actually want that relationship with us.
Yeah.
And the way that we've seen it is when they get released from custody, they're actually contacting us. Like they actually hit us up. And in some cases, we're like one of the first people they contact.
Yeah.
And that's when we knew, we're like, you know what? We're not just like doing a workshop with these guys. Like they're actually seeking for like positive mentors, like, you know, Johnny, like myself, like all the other great people doing workshops. So I think the number one thing is like, we're not just coming in here doing a program, see you later. Like we're here like long-term, especially if these kids are willing to stay positive and want that positive guidance. Like that's where we actually need to be, because when they're inside, they're staying out of trouble because they're inside. When they go outside, the whole world is there. They can get up to whatever they want. But it's just as simple as us checking in once a week or once a month, making sure that they're, you know, they're staying on the right track. And sometimes that's all they need. So yeah, it's awesome.
That's awesome. And you know what I like about what you're sharing? It's another form of almost like an aftercare outreach program. It's awesome that you go in there into the juvie system, right? And you're actually giving these guys a sense of purpose. But what you're also providing is the second layer of that is you're giving them a place to belong to after they're finished. Because sometimes we tell them, you know, stop doing crime or stop doing drugs. But what are we giving in replacement of that, right, Tack? But what you're doing is you're providing a point where they can continue on that relationship. And it's very important, right? Community is very important for guys to find a good, solid bunch of other guys that have the same common ground, and you're able to continue that relationship.
I think the other thing is like, we're not actually doing it. Like, of course we're doing it to make a difference, but that's not like my forefront. Yeah. My forefront is like, I just actually enjoy doing it.
Yeah.
You know, like it's just like not anyone can go in and do what we do. And that's because like the connection part is the most important thing in my opinion. We connect with these kids. That's why they reach back out to us.
Yeah.
Because we know what it's like to be in their shoes. We know what it's like growing up. And that's why when we go in there and we see some of these kids, like we can just relate to them on a different level, you know? And that's why it's very special for us when we go in and do what we do. It's just a special sort of relationship that we've been able to create with majority of the kids inside. And a lot of the kids, they're good kids, just been misguided and just done some silly things, you know, and they just don't think twice about it. But when you look at them, they're just little kids.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I love that. That's awesome. You mentioned, obviously, you understand what the background of what these kids are going through. But just behind me, we got Johnny, who I understand is one of the cameramen that have jumped on board with Zoku Creative. You've thrown him on the books, and now he's working full time for you, right, Tack? And I'm looking at some of this equipment, and we've actually got like these guys have set up like a full a whole bunch of cameras for obviously content. But is this the same equipment that you take in to the juvenile justice system? Yeah.
Exactly, man. Like we bring everything we have, whatever they need, they will get, and we give them the trust, and that's how we get the trust back.
Yeah.
You know, and at the end of the day, like for us, like especially for these kids, like trust is the most important thing, and that's actually really hard to get on day one.
Yeah.
Especially when you meet these kids for the first time. A lot of these kids, especially what they've been through, you know, trust is a huge thing.
Yeah.
And just to see the relationship evolve from week 1 to say week 6, it's night and day. We see some of these kids like very shy, closed, and by week 6, like you should see the handshakes and the hugs we give each other. It's like we're family, you know.
Yeah.
It's like with Zoku, you know. That's what Zoku means. It's family, and that's what makes it really special. And you know, we're not afraid to let them use the gear and bring in all this stuff, because at the end of the day, that's why we're there in the first place, to show them how to use all this stuff.
Yeah, awesome. For those of you who've just joined us, that was Tak from Zoku Creative. He's going to share a lot more about the workshops and you know, the huge impact that they're having on our juvenile system out there in Western Sydney. We're going to go to a quick break, and we want you to keep it locked into 90.1 FM, and we'll be back right after this break. And welcome back to 2MBC 90.1 FM. This is the Tomato Show. We're talking the men's space. I've got my man Tak in here from Zoku Creative. It's been awesome, man. Have you been enjoying your time here?
100%, bro.
Yeah, thanks
for having me, man.
We actually have had this conversation a long time in the works, and it was finally good to get him and Johnny out here and set up the cameras. You should see the studio right now. It looks like Big Brother. Like there's cameras everywhere. We got a whole bunch of all these gadgets, but these guys know what they're doing while I get this camera running. We were talking workshops. Zoku Creative right now is doing amazing workshops in juveniles and helping kids as young as 15 to what would you say is the oldest?
Probably about up to 20.
Up to 20.
Yeah.
And, you know, you guys run these workshops for about 6 to 8 weeks, is it?
Yeah, at the moment we're running 2 times 6 week workshops. So we just finished the 6 week one, and we're just up to our second 6 week workshop at the Cobham Justice Centre.
Yeah, awesome, man. So tell us, like, just break down what happens with these workshops, man.
Yeah, so I like to say we don't have a template for our workshops, because we're always trying to evolve in the way we do things.
Yep.
And that always also makes us, you know, interested ourselves into the workshop, because if you're running the same workshop every single time, that gets boring. And I'm far from a boring person. If I'm not engaged in it, how could the kids be engaged in it, right?
Right.
So this time around, it was actually requested from one of the young people that they wanted to be part of a music video. So I said, all right, man, I'm going to make it happen.
Oh, let's go.
So I got in touch with a brother of mine, Turquoise Prince, Tion. He was, you know, signed to a couple of major labels. He's been in the music industry for quite some time. And he recently moved to Sydney from Canberra. And he's also been doing some great work in the justice space with his music, teaching the kids how to, you know, record, how to perform, how to sing, how to rap. So I said, bro, me and you, we're going to have to collab. We're going to do an end-to-end workshop. You're going to do the music side, and we're going to do the video side. And these kids will be able to be first, you know, forefront of how it's all executed from the start to the very finish.
Jeez.
So we've just recorded the song last week. That was week 2. And this week, we're going to be filming the music video. And this song is unbelievable. Like, not just because we're there when we're being part of it. Like, we honestly think this song has the legs to be able to make it into that mainstream radio sort of style.
Yep.
It's a love song. So it's not a rap. I mean, there is some rap elements to it, but the song is about if the woman will wait for the boys when they're locked up.
Oh, okay.
So it's a very meaningful song, and we have 3 young men who performed and will be delivering the music video. And the best part of this workshop is that the young kids will be filming it under our guidance.
Right.
So not only do you get to be part of a major production by professionals, but they also actually get to execute it under our guidance. And the most amazing part of these workshops is there's an end product. Yep. These guys get to go home and have something that they were a part of. And this music video could go, who knows where it could go. Ideally, we want to have it go out publicly. And we have had success with that in a previous workshop with Cobham, where we did a music video and it was able to see the light of day, and it got great response from the community. But this one is just a little bit different only because of, Turquoise being a part of the program and the fact that it's a love song.
Yeah.
I think that makes it really special. And the song is hectic. So
Nice.
super
Nice.
excited about it.
So the boys in the Juvenile had written the song themselves.
So week 1,
Yeah.
Turquoise came in with, 20 different beats. We listened to all the beats and then the boys decided on 3 beats that they might go with. And then we ended up choosing one. And then they wrote the song all in about an hour's time.
Jeez.
So I mean, these kids are talented, and that's the beauty of workshops is we're letting them know that, hey, boys, you have some serious talent here.
Yeah.
And if you can, utilize that talent and turn it into something, you won't ever go back into prison again.
Yeah, man, that's crazy. It took him an hour.
Just an hour.
It took me 7 days to write my girlfriend like a poem. That was like only a few words. These guys are doing it in an hour. That's insane, man. I like the fact that you just kind of handing over the tools, the equipment. You're saying, boys, go nuts. We don't have a structure because you guys understand how the game's played. You guys know, you pretty much are there just like a bumper rail in bowling. You're just kind of guiding them along the way, right?
100%. But one thing I want to mention is, as much as these workshops sound amazing, and they are, we let them know what a privilege it is.
That's right.
To be a part of it.
100%.
Because, and that's what we started the workshop with. We go, boys, even people that haven't done bad things and haven't been in prison don't get these opportunities. You know what I'm saying? Like on the outside, to get an opportunity to record a song with a renowned artist in itself is just a very big privilege.
Yeah.
So we make sure that the boys know, and we tell them, boys, like, this is something so special and you don't even understand the opportunities that can come out from something like this.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And we make sure they know that, and that they're well engaged. They're not messing about in the workshop, because they know from the get-go that this is something very special that to be a part of.
Yeah, I love that. You're kind of establishing some responsibility, right? Because sometimes you get boys that's far from them. That's how we've ended up the way we have.
That's exactly right.
We didn't take ownership. We weren't responsible, and now all of a sudden you guys have come in here and we're saying we're going to give you a goal, but this is the cost. This is the sacrifice. This is the expectation of if you're going to muck around, there's the door.
That's correct. I thought I'll also mention, like,
Go for it, man.
the importance of a workshop isn't just being professionals at like what you're good at, which is like video or music.
Yeah.
The most important thing is to be a positive mentor. So along the way, we teach them, like, we're trying to guide them. There's small conversations that we have during the workshops to keep them aligned. One thing that Johnny and I started to do at our workshops at the start of every workshop is we do a reflection. So each week we do workshops, right? So because we haven't seen the boys for a week, a lot of things can happen in a week, even for us. Like, we can barely remember what we did yesterday, right? Or what we even had for breakfast yesterday. So it's important, even for us, not only for the kids, but for us as well. When we go in, we go, okay, let's go around in a circle and let's reflect on the week that we just had. And I'd rather them talk about some of the negative stuff that happened, because how often do we get a chance to actually reflect on our lives? So now we do that. We go around, might take 5 minutes.
Beautiful.
But we score ourselves out of 10 on, how we're feeling, and just gives us a good opportunity to just sort of think about, what's happened and, how we're feeling, and then be able to take the workshop from there.
Yeah. That's awesome, because there's so much more going on than just the workshop, right? Like,
Exactly
you're
right.
actually giving them, hey, what, we're going to do a bit of, there's going to be some reflective practice here. Because if you step away from it all, there's still time that's got to be served. But in that, you've actually gone to probably the place where they feel like there's no more purpose, there's no more identity, there's no more, there's no more future for me. And you say, no, there is. And it can be done with this camera. It can be done with some editing software. All of a sudden, you've got a reason to keep going in life. Whereas everything in myself as a young adult, I want to throw the toys out of the cot. I want to be done with it. But you're actually going in there and you're saying, hey, no, you know what? There's more to life than just where you've been or what you've done.
Yeah. And you got to always remember that these kids are young, even for us adults, it's sometimes hard to like talk about some of the painful stuff, right? So it's good for even us to be able to be like, you know what? The last week's actually been pretty hard. And, we've actually been able to do that because we don't even do it amongst our groups, which we probably should start incorporating, now that we got a little business with a few people jumping on board. But to give the kids an opportunity to show them that we're also vulnerable and that we're on the outside, but we still go through pain is very important for them to see. And it also, one of the big things that we are trying to provide for these kids is not only teaching them video skills or being a positive mentor, but we're actually trying to teach them about communication.
Yes.
And that is one of the most important values to have in this day and age, is how to communicate, how to express yourself, how important it is to actually be able to speak on camera or just speak in a large group, because a lot of these kids don't get these opportunities. And sometimes, you know, when they're going around in the circle and they're talking about, you know, how they're feeling, I'll give you a perfect example. One of the young person was like, you know, I've had a pretty good week. It's been all right. You know, there's not much depth into what he was saying. And then I'll be like, but bro, didn't you just say that maybe next week you're going to get released? Just before we started this, you told me that. And he goes, yeah. I go, doesn't that make you feel any different? How is that? That's such a big thing. Don't tell me that your week's just been normal when you heard that news.
Yeah.
How does it actually make you feel? And then he'll be like, oh yeah, like actually there's a lot of substance below that. So I think it's important as mentors to be able to identify like how they actually feel, not just what they say, but get them to actually open up and start being more comfortable about their feelings,
Awesome.
you know? Because as men, we're all emotional people, you know? It's just being able to get in touch with those emotions and being able to express it. And for me, especially, I've had a very hard time expressing how I felt my whole life.
Yep.
But I always have been a very emotional guy, but I just didn't know how to express it properly.
Yeah.
But now, like, I'm a lot more comfortable. If something's on my mind, I might speak to my wife more about it, or just Johnny or whoever it could be. And it's made me feel a lot better in life. And I think it's very important, especially for these young men who are trapped.
Yeah.
Especially, you know, a lot of them are going through a lot of trauma and some, you know, very deep issues in a prison at such a young age. Like, for them to be able to learn these valuable skills of communication is probably the most important thing now that we talk about it, you know?
Yeah, I love that, man. And obviously we're about to go to a break, but I just want to highlight and obviously just applaud you, because I think I like the fact that you're not just running a workshop, because I see so many workshops. I've been working in rehabs for 11 years, and sometimes you just see a workshop where it's just, here's a sheet of paper, there's the classroom, write some notes on the board, and that's it. But what you're providing is you're providing follow-up, you're getting in the trenches, and you're saying, hey, you know what, like, don't just come to the class and attend. And if you hear something, you challenge it front on. And I think that's what's lacking sometimes, I find, in a lot of these youth services, is that here's a guy that cares. Like, you actually give a crap.
You know what? It's funny you say that, because, you know, we do workshops outside of Justice Centres too. We just recently done one at Street Uni Mount Druitt. Yeah. Free workshop for the community.
Let's go.
Just a way to give back, you know, for what videos done for us. And I went in there and, you know, we were very busy as well. I think we were about 6 weeks into just doing almost 30 videos with clients. And to be honest, it just came at a really bad time to be hosting a free video workshop. And then I went in there and with Johnny, and I gave him a clause to the kids. I go, guys, there's one clause. You can't fall asleep in this workshop.
Let's go.
Right? And one of the kids was starting to nod off a little bit. And then I had to stop it there and, you know, give him a little bit of a mouthful. And I probably went a little bit too hard on it. But the reason is because, like, I'm just so passionate about what I do. You know, I'm not just doing a workshop for the sake of doing a workshop. Like, I love this, you know. Yeah. This is like my life. Yeah. And even when I'm in the justice space, like, doesn't matter where I do it, even with professional corporate CEOs, like, I am the same person through and through. Love it. And I will just show you my passion and my dedication to just trying to help, you know. And that's why I just love these workshops, man. They're the best thing that could happen. And that Street Uni Mount Druitt one was one of the most special workshops. I mean, honestly, every workshop we do is special, and there's always something special that happens. But something that happened at that Mount Druitt one organically, which is why I say there's no template, is that one of the girls that was there, she was a poet. And she said, I've only ever filmed on my phone before. She showed us the videos, and then we sort of broke down like why we thought things weren't working as well as they should be. And then before you knew it, everything we had learnt in that workshop, we filmed a cinematic video of her reciting one of her poems. And then we dedicated to her an edited final product, and she couldn't believe it. Number one, because it looked amazing. She's never filmed something on a camera before, only on a phone. We had the lighting. We edited it professionally.
Awesome.
And we gifted it to her as a present. You can see that on our Instagram. And this one video could potentially change her whole life. I'm sure it did. Just in the scheme of like, I can't believe that even happened at a free workshop she went to and was gifted this beautiful video that got great engagement. That street uni shared it, like got so much positive sentiment, positive comments from it. But things like this happen at our workshops. You just don't know what can happen at a Zoku Creative workshop.
Mate, I feel like I'm at a Zoku Creative workshop right now, man. This has been awesome, man. If you've just tuned in, we're talking to Tak from Zoku Creative, and he's just filling up my cup right now with all the amazing work that they're doing out in Western Sydney, man, from Penrith to Mount Druitt and all over. We're going to be right back after this next break because I'll tell you what, man, I'm getting overloaded here, but I'm loving it. And this guy is passionate, and he's like a firecracker. He's just popping off here. So we're going to be right back after this short break. So don't go anywhere as we wrap up the last 13 minutes of the Tamana Show here at the Men's Space on 90.1 FM. 90.1 FM, you're here with the Tamana Show, and we are talking to Tak from Zoku Creative, and it has been informative, transformative. It's been amazing, and I thank you for sharing your story, Tak.
Thanks for having me.
Hopefully you've been enjoyed it, man.
100%.
We definitely will have you. You get a pass, bro, so you can come back.
Yeah.
Hopefully you will come back because the work that you're doing out there with our youth in the juvenile system, man, and just kind of giving kids a second chance, it's needed. Because obviously, man, we all know the climate right now. You just have to turn on the news and there's a lot of craziness happening right now, and just kids are just so lost and they're just getting involved in things that they shouldn't be. And, there's a lot of young age crime being committed, and I think it's when I hear the work of what you guys are doing, just getting in the trenches and saying, what, we're going to change the trajectory of a generation. Just know, man, that you're not doing any small work here.
No, thanks, man.
Yeah, no, it's awesome. Before we get into the future stuff, because I know you kind of want to let us know what's happening, on the horizon with Zoku Creative. You mentioned before that you work with these kids because you understand what they're coming from. You want to go into that a little bit more in terms of your own personal story with being that age and kind of being involved in all this stuff that's just got these kids on the wrong side of the tracks?
Yeah, I mean, there's so many different ways to look at it, but I think the biggest one is just not having a father figure myself. So I think not having like a mentor, especially males need males.
Yes.
That's the way I see it.
100%.
And because I never had that, and a lot of people don't, what happens is they find it on the streets. Like you find it through other boys or other men that feel the same way.
Yeah.
And then before you know it, you're smoking darts like in the firewall at like 13 or 14 years old,
Yeah.
And that was the same as me. Like that's exactly what happened. I started smoking cigarettes from a very young age, and just not having that father figure really just let me down a very, I don't want to call it dark path because it wasn't dark, but just like I was very lost. I didn't have any purpose. I didn't know what I wanted to do. I wanted to be successful, but I didn't really know how, didn't really know who to ask, get the guidance from. That was the biggest thing. And all these kids that we see are all the same.
Yeah.
Like they don't have that as well. At least the people they think they have aren't the right ones.
Yep.
So for us to come in and, we're successful in our own eyes in terms of where we've come from to where we are now, we are very successful. And we can help that for these young people by teaching them the different ways that you can become free. And when I say free, not financially, but just within yourself, you know, finding what you like to do, finding an honest way to make a living, eventually having that family and that purpose. And I think that's the biggest thing that these kids need is just a leader, a mentor, but a positive one.
Yeah. You're giving them a different perspective, right, Tak? You're just getting in there and saying, hey, why don't try looking at life differently, excuse the pun, but maybe through a different lens,
Exactly right, man. And I think what I like to say to the kids is you got to try a lot of different things, like, and not as in a negative state, but like in work. Like even for me, like I had a career change after 30, like a completely different. I mean, it's quite in the same sort of realm, but it's still a completely different job that I'm doing to what I was doing a decade ago.
Yeah.
And to be able to find what you like doing, you have to do a lot of different things. Because if you don't do a lot of different things, you won't know what you like and what you don't like doing. And I think the biggest thing now, and a lot of adults feel the same way, is they don't know what they want to be doing, or they're doing something but they don't actually enjoy what they're doing. So just showcasing videography as a possible career path is just opening up their eyes, or possibly eliminating one thing that they don't want to do.
Yeah.
Because that way you'll be one step closer into figuring out what you actually want to do.
Yeah.
So, these workshops are just giving opportunities that, hey, this is something you can be doing and it's fun, and I'm here to tell you why.
That's so awesome, man. What would you say were probably some of the biggest, or what was one of the biggest challenges for you to actually take this leap of faith? Because you shared the career change, and you were kind of had something solid. You had a good gig, and then obviously this was kind of like you were tinkering with this idea, but you took the plunge. What would you say was probably one of your biggest hurdles? It
was definitely like one of the biggest ones was definitely financially. Yeah. Like, you know what? If I really think about it, I think it's self-belief. It's like, can I really do this? And I think a lot of the kids out there, even a lot of adults, they have a lot of doubt in themselves. And I was one as well. And that's probably because I didn't really have like a strong mentor who like really believed in me, or like a dad be like, son, you can do this. Like, like I didn't have that. Yeah. But I had a very good wife that was very supporting me all the time, and she knew I could do it, but I didn't know if I could do it. And only until you do it, then you don't realize what you're actually capable of. Yeah. So now I'm a very strong believer in like even myself, where I go, you know what? I know I can do it because I can do it. Yeah. Because I've already gotten to this far. Yeah. So if I want to do something, I know I can do it. Yeah. And I also have the discipline and like the determination to do it, because I have no other choice but to do it. Yeah. And that's the energy that I'm trying to give out when I do these workshops, when I speak to these boys or kids in street uni or wherever. Even when I'm working with clients or when I'm speaking to you, like I want to just be that infectious energy to be able to be like, guys, we can do this. Like we can do whatever we put our minds to, and that's the level that I want to take, like just the way I feel out into the world. Come on, man. Come on. If you just joined us, we're here with Tak from Zoku Creative. I got him and Johnny in the studio today. They've come all the way out from Western Sydney to be here. We're going to wrap it up in the last 3 minutes. Tak, let us know what the future was got in store for Zoku. Yeah, I mean, dream for a creative, man. Yeah, well, for a creative, I think every creative person's dream is to have a creative studio. Yeah. So that's definitely one of my big goals. The sooner it happens, the better. But I don't want it to be like just a creative studio like anyone else's. If you tuned in earlier, I said I don't want to be like anyone else. I always want to be unique. So I want to open up like the first ever creative studio that's like focused around youth. So think of it like a youth center, but for creatives. Beautiful. So a safe space for kids to be able to come in, do podcasts, use the cyclorama, be able to edit, and just be a space where they can get creative. So that's something that I'm working on behind the scenes, and hopefully we'll be able to execute that in the next year or two. And, just continue just doing different things in the workshops that we're doing. Like, I don't think there's a need to change anything too dramatically, because what we've been doing has been working. So I love to be able to collaborate with more people, collaborate with more artists who all have the same vision, and to be able to like inspire the youth in what we're doing. And to be honest, I want to create more content around what we're doing, just to showcase that, hey guys, like what we're doing is actually like, it's something really special. And not only is it like a very effective workshop, but it's just fun to be a part of. I want more organizations to like, just want to be like, hey, we love what you're doing. We want to jump on board somehow, just because, I'd love for people to come in and just see this. And the only way they can see it is through content right now, unless they actually come, firsthand into how we run a workshop. But hopefully the content that we start to drop as we're actually filming a documentary on a behind the scenes of our workshop with Turquoise Prince. Yeah. So we're documenting the whole thing, and hopefully it will get posted on our YouTube channel, Zoku Creative, just to give you a bit of a glimpse on like, you know, what this workshop is really all about.
Awesome. That was Tak from Zoku Creative. We're going to put down all the details in regards to their social media followings and their YouTube channels on our 2NBC 90.1 FM Facebook page and other social media streams. But that concludes it for today. Thanks so much, Tak, for coming in. Johnny, thank you too for coming out all the way out to Cogra.
Thanks,
We appreciate you guys. And yeah, man, all the best. We're going to be cheering you guys on. That's it from the Tamana Show. Thanks so much. We're signing off. We appreciate you guys being with us from 5 to 6 every Saturday. It's been awesome.
Thanks for having me.
Cheers.